While ordinary Canadians didn't wait to donate to charity and help Haiti in its time of ultimate need, another group of Canadians couldn't wait to get there to help. The crew on board HMCS Halifax was redirected to Haiti while sailing to a different mission in another part of the Caribbean. We had the opportunity to travel with them from Kingston, Jamaica, as the frigate headed back to Haiti after reloading, following a couple of weeks of grueling work on the ground in Jacmel. What we didn't know is that this 16-hour sail from Kingston to Léogâne would be historic, because for the first time since June 4th, 1944, the Canadian Navy would be taking the Canadian Army to a mission. So beyond the additional supplies being loaded on board, almost 200 members of the Vandus were joining us. Getting all of their gear on board took hours, but with military precision, they load up without missing a beat. Okay, so right now it's briefing time for this group of Vandus who've just boarded the Halifax. One of the main issues here is that many of these soldiers have never before set foot on a boat, particularly a boat of this size. So one of the big issues is seasickness.
The garbage bags, you'll see, put buckets out in the hallways. So if you're sick, make sure you go sick in the bag, it goes in those buckets.
The soldiers in unfamiliar territory heed the multiple warnings and look forward to the rare chance to mingle with their colleagues in another branch of the Canadian Forces. You've never seen this before, right?
Nope, never.
What do you think about this?
It's pretty cool. I just hope I won't be sick on board, but anyway, we'll see.
Also working against the soldiers, space. Halifax is already at capacity with crew and embedded journalists, but the addition of almost 200 more people meant space was at a premium, especially when it came time to sleep. So under the glowing red lights of the ship's lower decks, the soldiers bedded down anywhere they could roll out their inflatable green mattress pads. Come morning, many of the soldiers looked worse for wear, but Master Corporal Christian Dugas managed to find the right balance.
Well, actually pretty good. I took 2 gravels, so I slept all night.
It's safe to say he was in the minority.
For me, it was my first experience on ship. It was pretty hard because I got sick 3 times. Yeah, so I don't think I'm made for to be living on the ship.
I was experiencing a lot of sickness.
You weren't alone.
Exactly. Yeah, but it was certainly an interesting experience.
And while the maiden voyage for many soldiers was less than smooth sailing for their stomachs, all of them were looking forward to getting to land and helping. For Captain Maxime Fournier, this is his first mission as a Canadian soldier.
I'm very excited, especially that it's an humanitarian mission. So really, I'm looking forward for it, and my family accepts very well the mission as well.
He says the humanitarian focus makes the mission an easier sell to his family, but the job of getting all of the soldiers to the quake zone wouldn't be so easy. All right, at this point, where we are in the Caribbean Sea right now, we have Port-au-Prince over here over my left shoulder. And then as you move further along the coast, you see Léogâne. That is where the majority of the Canadian soldiers who boarded this ship last night will be heading, but it's taking a while to get 3 boatloads of soldiers over there. So for many of the soldiers up here on the flight deck at this point, today's really just been a case of hurry up and wait. Clearly, moving so many people and so much gear is a time-consuming and delicate task. The sailors take advantage of the wait by taking a few pictures.
Bon voyage! Bonne chance! Salut, mes amis! Good luck!
Finally, the last of the soldiers leaves the ship and they make their way to shore. But the Sea King helicopter helps lighten the load of the smaller boats, arriving to collect some of the gear and then flying it to shore. From here, Halifax heads to Jacmel, but the sail around Haiti is no pleasure cruise. There are always jobs to be done on board a naval ship. For some, that means giving thanks.
We stand and lift up our hands, for the joy of the Lord is our strength.
Led by a U.S. Navy Padre, a handful of sailors attends the service in the ship's wardroom. When church is finished, the nightly commanding officer's briefing begins. It's a kind of board meeting where Kurtz gets caught up on what's happening in all of the ship's departments from the senior officers, while also updating her team on any changes in the mission. This mission is marked by teamwork. It's rare the Canadian Navy gets the chance to work so closely with the Army, and that cooperation was recognized as Colonel Lanthier's guided tour of Jacmel finishes. He gives Commander Kurtz a coin, a military tradition, as a token of appreciation.
Over 20 years of service, 5 tours. That's the first one I've worked that closely or at all with the Navy.
Isn't that
and
impressive?
therefore absolutely impressive. And the stellar work they're doing is absolutely incredible. The dedication of their sailors, the motivation. It is a strange environment for them. You know, literally a fish out of water, and they're doing outstanding work.
I know that I have learned probably more in my 2 weeks on the ground than I've had in many years in the Navy. So it's a brilliant experience.
Halifax is also doing security for Canada's Disaster Assistance Response Team. The DART Medical Clinic set up just on shore in Jacmel less than a week after the earthquake. Since then, a team of 4 family doctors have been working at a furious pace, seeing 250 to 300 people each day. And while they aren't performing surgery, they are relieving the local hospital, which was seriously damaged in the quake.
I think the people, the wounded, would have had to go somewhere else, go up to Port-au-Prince or another city where they could have get the medical care they needed. So, because the NGOs themselves just set up in the last couple of days in Jacmel. So the in-between would have been very hard. I don't know what could have happened. We were there, so thank God, like we were able to take care of those patients.
Without all of the help from Canada and the rest of the world, Haitians would be left dealing with this catastrophe on their own. The federal government is scrambling and is in no real position to help, so security has largely been left to survivors.
This is kind of an unusual one here. We haven't seen a police vehicle yet since we've been on the streets of Jacmel, and the first one we've seen was offered to give us a lift.
The drive back to the jetty winds through the empty streets of Jacmel, making it look like a ghost town, but there are many ghostly reminders of just what's happened here. Next on Hope for Haiti, having lost so much, Haitians are showing incredible resilience.